Hey there, welcome back. Once again, it's time for the Golden Age of DC Comics, 365 days, where I take this beloved hardcover coffee table book given to me by one of my best friends about 2 decades ago. It's been surfing my coffee table ever since, and it is a great source of comic book conversation. I wish to recreate the style of conversation that we had back in the comic book shops and share this here with you right now. I'd like to go over the book just a little bit. This is an Abrhams 2004 publication. This is curated and written by Chip Kidd, Les Daniels, and Geoff Spear. There is a link to Amazon in the description so you can get your own copy. It runs between $12 and $24, I believe. So check it out and get your own copy. It makes a great gift. I know. And thank you so much for tuning in. I'm very blessed that you're here right now. One of the messages that I want to put across with this show is to value your sense of imagination and escapism. An active ingredient that's been overused in today's culture is activism. Now, activism has its place at the table. It's very important. But does it need to be in everything? No, it doesn't. We need to occasionally escape this world's problems, to be spirited away with some adventure, some fantasy, some fiction, whether it's robots, whether it's magicians, whether it's fairies, whether it's elves, whether it's superheroes or race car drivers, whatever it is, or sports or music or art. You know, it's just we need the ability to not be reminded of this world's many problems just for a few minutes, once a day at least. And both of these things, escapism and activism, can coexist. But don't let anyone fool you that activism needs to be in everything, because who wants to be constantly lectured and constantly reminded? I mean, we need a break from these things, just a little one. They'll be back. They'll be here when we get back. Trust me, they will. And so I take this book for its intended purpose. I crack the book open, go to today's date. We look at some comic book art. We read the blurb, and then we talk about comic books. And we're going to talk about comic books every day for the rest of the year. So let's get to it. We're going to crack the book open to today's date. It is June the 12th. And today we're talking about Plastic Man from Quality Comics. It's art by Jack Cole. This is from Plastic Man number 5 in the autumn of 1946. And every triumph of explosive, shot, or steel that his evil genius could furnish was directed at Plastic Man. Dun, dun, dun. And see, we have some kind of cannon or exhaust thrust here that's blowing apart the Plastic Man logo. And we're going to talk about that logo in our blurb right now. Some superheroes, like Superman and Batman, were identified for decades with powerful logos that were almost iconic. Yet when it came to ink lines, there were different strokes for different folks. Some superheroes, like Plastic Man, had their names written in a separate style for almost every story in which they appeared. Artists like Jack Cole viewed the logo not as a reliable trademark, but as an integral part of page design, changed to reflect the visual and narrative approach of each individual tale. For this story about a malevolent arms manufacturer, Cole created a logo that was nothing short of explosive. So yeah, let's look at that art once again. Golden Age art of Antediluvian age. And let's talk about Plastic Man just for a few minutes. I think I'm going to call this a slow news day. And but Plastic Man his real name is Patrick Eel O'Brien, and he's a fictional superhero, first appearing in Police Comics number 1, published by Quality, and later acquired by DC Comics. Plastic Man was one of the first superheroes to incorporate humor into mainstream action storytelling. And let's see, he had a cartoon when I was a kid. In the early 2000s, he had a really awesome book by Kyle Baker, who was hands down one of my favorite artists. He's a great comic storyteller. And he was also in the Justice League of America, and about in the late 90s, brought in by Grant Morrison. And those wonderful, awesome tales. Really, really, really enjoyed that. But what are Plastic Man's powers? What does he bring to the table? What, he has a malleable physiology. His powers are derived from an accident in which his body was bathed in an unknown industrial chemical mixture that also entered into his bloodstream. I'm reading this from the wiki. Through a gunshot wound, this caused a body-wide mutagenic process that transformed his physiology. Eel exists in a fluid state, neither entirely liquid nor solid. Plastic Man has complete control over his structure. He has density control, malleability, elasticity/plasticity, size alteration, shape shifting, superhuman agility, superhuman strength, color change, invulnerability, regeneration, telepathic immunity, immortality, ultrasonic detection, and rubber organs. He's a skilled thief, a master detective. His weaknesses, he can be frozen at very, very harsh temperatures. That's about, that's probably one of his weaknesses. I think of maybe another one of his weaknesses might be ladies, women. Pretty sure about that. But Quality Comics, they folded in 1956 and were sold to DC in late 1956. And DC has only published a handful of the Quality Comics stable that they came across, like Blackhawk, GI Combat. Quality also had a publication of Will Eisner's The Spirit, and which originally ran in the Sunday Funnies in the Register and Tribune syndicate newspapers, and they were collected and republished by Quality. And but the Eisner Spirit stories appeared in Harvey Comics in the 60s. Harvey was huge. I remember Harvey Comics because they were like kids comics. And Warren Publishing, they made horror comics in the 70s, like Creepy and Vampirella. Oh gosh, those are great comics. Those are great magazines. And Kitchen Sink, and there were new Spirit stories told. There was a movie for the Spirit as well in the early 2000s that was made in that Frank Miller Sin City style. I think Frank Miller directed that too, if I'm not wrong. But yeah, I'm going to call this a slow news day. There's not much to talk about with Plastic Man and Quality Comics that we already haven't covered before. But we have been talking about comic books, and we're going to be talking about comic books for every day for the rest of the year. Remember, the golden age of DC Comics runs 1938 to 1955. The Silver Age is from 1956 to 1970. The Bronze Age, I'm a Bronze Age baby, runs from 1970 to 1985. The Copper Age begins in 1985, and we can continue this conversation about the comic book ages in different places. Let me know. Put a comment in the comment section. Like, subscribe, please. Turn on the notifications. I would love to earn your subscription. We make daily content here. We talk about spirituality, cooking. I'm a professional chef. Apparently, my soups are wicked popular. I make daily gratitude lists. It's hashtag lighten up. It's about enlightenment and how spirituality can improve your daily existence. And we talk about comic books every day as well. 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern. Tune in tomorrow. God bless. Namaste. Good luck. See you in the funny pages. All right? Thanks.